Ho ho, hello there, podcast listeners. This is Fresh Out the Podcast, Holiday Edition. I am the board game guru and jolly fat fellow, Jahan.
And I am the professional media and holiday movie mastermind, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. And this is episode 141 of Fresh Out the Podcast. And we're here actually with a discussion about a brand new holiday movie that Jahan and I got to see together called Red One. This is, it's got The Rock in it.
It's got The Rock in it.
It's got Captain America in it.
It's got Captain America, yeah.
It's got J. Jonah Jameson in it.
It does, yep.
It's got a big polar bear in it.
Yeah, I never found out who plays that polar bear.
It's got Lucy Liu in it, who's a former Charlie's Angel.
I feel like most people...
What am I doing, John?
I don't know what you're doing right now, but I like it.
Yeah, Red One is a new holiday movie that's coming to theaters this weekend. It's directed by Jake Kasdan, who directed the recent Jumanji movies, so a frequent collaborator with The Rock as of late. Which, you know, The Rock, he does this, right? He finds his guys. He gets his directors. He frequently collaborates with them. You know, he gets his guys that know how to make a blockbuster movie that can make some money. You know, the Jumanji movies did extremely well at the box office, and now he's doing a holiday movie. Has The Rock done a holiday movie before? I'm trying to think.
Dude, he's had to have.
I'm looking at the filmography to see if there's any Christmas movies.
There's no way he had. This is his first one.
His Wikipedia page is so long because of all his wrestling stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Black Adam, Red Notice, Jungle Cruise. No. Baywatch, nope. Moana, no.
Nothing else except Red One comes up when you look The Rock holiday movie. So
yeah. I guess
it might be his first one. Well, good for him.
Unless, I mean, there might have been some holiday ties and something like, what's the football one he did, the family one, the Game Plan or Tooth Fairy? I don't know, something like that. Anyways,
those are two very different movies.
He did the Tooth Fairy movie. Yeah, so Red One, he basically plays Santa Claus's bodyguard, more or less. Santa Claus gets kidnapped. He's got to team up with, he being Dwayne Johnson. His character's name is Callum Drift, head of North Pole Security. And he's
the commander of the ELF, Drew.
The ELF, yes, thank you. He teams... Sorry, it is the... I mean, it's true.
It's true.
I can't even remember what it stands for. It stands for the Enforcement, Logistics, and Fortification.
Yeah.
But even though this organization in the movie is called ELF, there are also elves.
There are elves. There's other creatures. There's pretty much all the creatures.
Yeah. Santa Claus gets kidnapped. Callum Drift, Santa Claus's bodyguard, has to team up with a normal guy hacker in order to find where Santa Claus is being held.
Who's a level 4? He's a level 4 naughty lister.
He is indeed a level 4 naughty lister. And so Red One, it's coming to theaters. It's an MGM Amazon movie. And Jahan, we'll just start off in general here. We're just going to go right into it. What did you think overall? You know, before we get into any kind of spoilers, things like that, just in general, what did you think of Red One?
Look, if I'm putting this on the scale of all the other movies, like, this is trash, but like
all the other movies being all movies
like cinema
ever.
Yeah, if you grade this like cinema, like this is garbage. This is a garbage movie for garbage people. If you look at it as a fun person that doesn't hate yourself, it's an entertaining holiday movie.
Actually, I think that's actually very spot on. This movie is kind of exactly what you think it would be. this is like the typical kind of rock blockbuster fare. It's trying to do this thing of like being the MCU of holiday movies.
It
Because while
does.
this is a Christmas movie, it's definitely trying to set up the lore. There's an organization in this movie called Mora, and they're the Mythological Oversight and Restoration Authority. And this is Lucy Liu's character in the movie is the head of this organization. So when Santa Claus is captured, Mora has to step in, because they help oversee this type of operation. And they allude to all kinds of mythological beings being real. And slight spoiler, when this is being revealed to like Chris Evans' character, you get a glimpse of the headless horseman as part of this. So
That was pretty cool.
This is showing that pretty much any character in mythology could be real in this world. Kind of setting up for you could do more movies in this. It feels that way, right? Like it's not.
That's
just
how
like,
I felt too.
This could be a sequel, or this could be something. No, like this absolutely feels like they're trying to kind of shoehorn a cinematic universe, a holiday cinematic universe, if you will, the HCU.
And not in a bad way either. Like, honestly, while I was watching this, I was like, I would watch Chris Evans save other holidays. Like, that's cool. And I don't know. I'd be interested. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they realize that they have that option, because I think it would actually be decent.
Yeah, and this movie, the things that work are the things you'd expect. Like The Rock and Chris Evans kind of having banter back and forth. Some of that stuff is funny. It kind of looks like garbage, to your point. Like the sheen on this movie, it's just filled. A lot of it looks. There's some cool practical stuff in it. There's a big scene with Krampus, where Krampus is. It's actually the actor who plays Tormund in Game of Thrones. The wild.
You mean
Tormund.
Christopher Hivge?
Yeah, I didn't even want to attempt the last name because he is a Norwegian.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know how to pronounce those names, so.
But like the Krampus makeup and look is practical and looks good, but like a lot of the sets and parts where they're like in a cemetery and stuff just totally looks like they're on a green screen set, in a warehouse somewhere. And it's crazy because I'm looking at Wikipedia and it says the budget of this movie was $250 million, which is insane. I'm sure a big part of that went to The Rock and Chris Evans for their salaries.
Definitely.
But still, that's a lot of money to pay for this movie that doesn't ever really look very good. There's definitely a lot of CG effects, but all that to say, this is one of those movies that's going to be really easy to kind of dunk on. But like, Jahan and I had fun seeing it together because what else are we going to do seeing this movie? But it's definitely not.
It was fun. Good. I laughed. It's a solid holiday movie. It's not really geared towards the super young. It's more of like you have teenagers and want a more or less wholesome movie. There are some more adult jokes, and they have Nick Kroll, and that's always a dirty time. So,
you actually get into a big point. That's one of the things that I was really, when it came to juggling my feelings about this movie, this played into it because when the movie first starts, I'm like, okay, this is a kid's holiday movie. But then they start cursing. Like, they say shit a lot.
They say shit a lot.
Shithead, piece of shit, shit. And I'm like, okay, like, who is this movie aimed towards? Because now I don't feel like I can recommend this movie to my friends with younger children, elementary age children, depending on how mature their child is and if they, are okay subjecting them to
they pretty much just say shit. So.
Yeah. Yeah. This movie kind of wants to have its cake and eat it too, right? It's which, we are in a world post Deadpool and Wolverine, which is an R-rated movie that plenty of young children were being taken to go see. So, who am I to judge? But I just went into this thinking like, oh, this is going to be a family-friendly holiday movie. And I was like, man, there's a lot of, adult language and such, which is fine. It's not like I don't curse in my life. But when it comes to a movie like this, it feels like you're kind of blocking out potential audience here, especially for a movie that costs this much and you need it to make back a lot of its money. I'm like, who are you aiming this to? Because I do feel like the teenagers that maybe it's aimed for are going to be the ones who are most apathetic when it comes to actually going out and seeing this movie in a theater.
Yeah, I mean, they might have missed the mark on their audience, honestly, but I still think it's definitely, I don't know. I don't know of any other holiday movies coming out like this, so it's I feel like it's the Christmas movie this year, you know what I mean?
It is, yeah, but the problem is it's coming out right before a kind of crazy box office weekend because next weekend going into, the weekend before Thanksgiving, you've got Wicked, which is
Yeah.
going to be huge, and Gladiator 2 coming out the same night, which is, those are two big head-to-head movies. 5 days later, Moana 2 comes out, which,
Oh boy.
I mean, granted, The Rock is in that as well, so either way, he's having a successful Thanksgiving. But Moana 2, the first Moana is like the most streamed movie ever, like in the history of Disney Plus and whatever. Even this year, there can be new stuff on there. Moana is the most streamed movie. Like that's the movie that's playing like gangbusters. Moana 2, I would imagine, is going to do huge numbers at the box office.
Moana is one of
Coming out
my
at Thanksgiving.
favorite Disney movies by far, and I wouldn't be surprised.
My 4-year-old asks every day when the new Moana is coming out, and
Aw.
finally, it's 2 weeks away, and
That's
so I can
adorable.
actually say that we get to see it very soon. But yeah, so I'm sure The Rock's gonna have a nice holiday season for himself with these two movies. But I just feel like Red One might have a good weekend upcoming, but it'll quickly drop off with the competition it has, unless, to your point, with there not being much else coming out in the realm of like holiday Christmas movies, this one might linger for a while and might do well.
I think it's going to clean
over
up in
time.
the long run. Yeah.
Because I think that this is the type of movie that it doesn't really matter what the critics say. Obviously, this had like a 30 something on Metacritic. When
Now
I
you got
looked
family
earlier.
in
I don't
town.
remember what it said
You don't know
now.
what to do. There's a Christmas movie in theaters. Hey, let's go watch it. It's
Yeah,
what else you doing?
absolutely.
I feel like they set themselves up pretty well. But yeah, all in all, I liked it. It's not my favorite holiday movie by a long shot, but definitely the best one I've seen this year. So hey, good job, Red One.
One thing that disappointed me also about this movie, so Kiernan Shipka's in this movie,
Yep.
an actress who plays one of the villains in this movie, and I really like her as an actress. You mentioned she's in the Sabrina series.
Yeah,
on
she's
Netflix,
Sabrina
right?
in the Netflix series. She's also apparently in Twisters. And
She is. So she did a good movie on Amazon Prime Video called Totally Killer that I liked. That was kind of like a Back to the Future horror movie type of thing.
Oh, I like that.
And but Twisters, she's in at the very beginning, and I was really excited to see her in it. But without spoiling that movie, she's only in the beginning of that movie. So she's an actress I've had an eye on that I think is good. So when she showed up in here as the villain, I'm like, oh, good. She's gonna have a kind of a meaty role, and she's just not good in this. Like,
No.
it's unfortunate. She kind of gets better as it goes, but
she does get better, but her initial appearance is so lackluster, and it does not set up the villain like as someone to be feared in the beginning. Like it's pretty crappy, and then she does get better, but
and talk about things
doesn't
being
make up for it.
feeling like they're filmed in a warehouse, right? Like
Yeah.
she's obviously separate from the heroes the whole time or majority of the time because she's captured Santa Claus and they're trying to find Santa. And so like she only talks to them kind of remotely and like it just feels like she was never on the set with anybody else at the same time. It's strange. It's just one of those things, and that's a common thing in these.
Now that
movies,
you
like,
mention
people are
it-
in movies together, but they don't ever see each other.
Like, while the characters have scenes together, I don't think she ever has a real scene with any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. No, weird. That's so weird. But hey, whatever.
So, yeah, I mean, the discussion of this movie is actually turning out to be way faster than I expected because you kind of get to a point with this where you're like, well, what is there to say? It's like it's not very good, but like there's some fun to be had.
Yeah.
It's a big budget action holiday movie with The Rock and Chris Evans, so like that's the appeal. That's what you're going for, and if you know what to expect, like that's what you're gonna get. Like, don't expect anything here.
Yeah, we're not saying this is certified fresh out the podcast or anything like that. It's fine. It's watchable. Watch it with your family if you're bored. But you by no means, this is not a must-see.
If you really don't like big budget musicals, and maybe you don't care about seeing Gladiator 2, and maybe you don't care about seeing Moana 2, then
this movie is for you because you obviously have terrible taste. Oh boy.
But it does lead, actually, this is kind of a good segue, though, into one of the topics I wanted to talk about, because you and I had kind of brainstormed at the end of last episode what we wanted to talk about in addition to this movie, and it's easy to say, like, oh, what's your favorite holiday movies or that kind of thing, but I feel like we've done that before on the show, so I feel like I kind of had a different take, because I watched this movie. Anytime a new holiday movie comes out, I tend to ask myself the question, like, is this now going to enter the holiday movie rotation for myself?
Yeah.
Right? And after having seen Red 1, we're 2 days removed from it now. Having seen it 2 days ago, my initial response is no.
Hell
This
no.
will not be in the rotation for me. It's not supplanting some of the other movies that I do tend to lean towards during the holidays. So my question is, and this is kind of broad, but what makes a holiday movie a classic? Or along those lines, what's the last holiday movie you remember seeing and being like, this is now part of the holiday pantheon for me? Like, this is now in my rotation. Because I'm actually struggling to think of things that are more recent. The last time I feel like I remember having that feeling in a visceral way was seeing Elf, the Will Ferrell movie directed by Jon Favreau.
Elf is probably one of the most modern Christmas classics for sure. I would agree with you there.
Yeah, a post-2000 movie. Because what was that? When did Elf came out? 2003. Like, of the 2000s, what else is there? Like, The Polar Express, I feel like people do watch that one. I just don't think that movie's very good. Things like Christmas with the Cranks and Love Actually, those get a lot of play during the holidays, and again, I think you get varying degrees of quality. The Grinch, that is 2000. There's a few of these post-2000 that have come out, but I don't know, any that stick out to you, Jahan, or any that, play in your ride, so to speak, when it comes to the holidays?
I mean, new ones, the newest one that I think was like, oh yeah, I'll watch that again. Violent Night.
That's a good one. We've talked about that at length on this show. We did a whole episode devoted to it at one point when Gary was still here.
That was a good one. I mean, there's been a few, like Klaus is really good.
I actually haven't seen it, but I've heard great things.
You should check it out. It's a solid movie. Animated, which is unusual for Christmas movies usually. Recently, one that you got me to watch, The Holdovers, that was very good.
Oh, good answer, Jahan. I wouldn't have thought of it, because that's one of those movies. It is at its heart a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Or holiday movie. That's a really good answer. Yeah. I could totally see myself throwing that out again now, timing wise.
Yeah, I would watch that with like my kids. Like that's a good movie. And once again, it's a modern classic. I feel like it really, I don't know, and that does bring into question like what does make it classic. I think in order for it to be truly classic, it has to elicit emotional responses. It has to have a message. It has to matter on some level to you in order to make it this ongoing, memory that you want to keep reliving with your family and loved ones. Like it has to matter in some way. It has to do something inside you, movies that I really, we talked about this, Lord of the Rings, man. We love watching that, all season long. Used to watch a lot of.
Kind of stole what I was gonna use, because I was gonna say sometimes it's not necessarily what's in the movie itself, but the feeling the movie elicits from you. Like for me, The Lord of the Rings is that example. Like,
Yeah.
those are not holiday, like, Christmas movies, but whether it's the fact that they came out in theaters around the holidays, so I associate them, or, whatever, something about those movies, when it's cold outside and you can bundle up and just throw on the Fellowship of the Ring, like, it gives me a warm fuzzy feeling.
Right?
That
Yeah,
I associate with the holidays.
it feels like Christmas. It feels like family. It's, I don't know. I agree with you completely on that. And yeah, we used to watch like all the Harry Potter movies during the Christmas period.
That's another good one, which those, almost every single one has a Christmas scene.
They all have Christmas, yeah, pretty much.
And a lot of them came out around the holidays, so it makes sense. Yeah, those are. Don't they always do movie marathons of the Harry Potter movies on like USA or TBS or something like that?
They often
during
do.
The holidays. I feel like that happens.
I imagine
year.
it'll be coming to Max because of the deals they have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lord of the Rings was a good pick on your end. That one, I saw it for 3 of my birthdays in a row, so like, it's a big deal for me too. And Jenny loves it as well, so it's easy to watch with your family. And then there's classics too, like Die Hard. Die Hard I watch every single year without fail.
And Die Hard has kind of crossed the line. Like, it used to be the snarky answer for like, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And like, dude bros that thought they were super cool, like Die Hard. But now it is such a common answer that I feel like it is just in the Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie, man.
Watch Die Hard at the holidays.
It has at least 3 Christmas songs in it. They mention Christmas several times. The bad guy says "ho ho ho." You know what I mean? Like, he dresses a dead body up as Santa. I don't know, man. It's a Christmas movie to me. I've mentioned this before, but I was born on the literal Die Hard day, December 24th, 1988. So,
nice.
While John McClane was crawling through air ducts, I was crawling out of my mother. So,
I did find a list on IMDb. Now, this is a user-created list.
Okay.
The user's name is Eric Scissorhands. Good
Ooh,
name.
It's
this
a good
list
name.
was created 13 years ago, but was last modified 10 months ago. So, shout out to Eric Scissorhands, who's been keeping this list updated. But he or she made a list of the top 100 Christmas movies of all time, and their number 1 is It's a Wonderful Life, and number 2 is Die Hard. And A Christmas Carol, Home
Interesting.
Alone, Rudolph, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story, Miracle on 34th Street, Elf, Gremlins. Like a lot of your classics. But actually, as I scroll down, lo and behold, number 27 on here, The Holdovers. So there you go. That's a recent addition to the list. Violent Night is on here at number 25.
It's a good pick.
The Christmas Chronicles. Oh, that's the Kurt Russell Netflix Santa movie, which props to Netflix. Whether or not they're good is a different discussion, because I think most of them are bad. But at least Netflix is throwing out holiday movies left and right when it comes to Christmas time. Do you plan to watch Hot Frosty, Jahan? Have you heard of Hot Frosty?
I saw a trailer, yeah.
Oh, good. You have seen a trailer.
I saw a trailer.
This makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those who don't know, I'll read the description here of Hot Frosty. This is a new Netflix film available as of yesterday. We're recording this on the 14th. This is available the 13th. In Hope Springs, Kathy Barrett owns and operates a cafe, widowed as her husband succumbed to cancer. She counters her loneliness with a magical snowman she unwittingly brings to life by placing a scarf around his neck. And for those that maybe haven't put 2 and 2 together, Frosty becomes a hot guy, aka Hot Frosty.
Hot Frosty.
Also worth noting, this stars Lacey Chabert, who is actually what most people would probably know her from is Mean Girls. She's in Mean Girls, and she plays, what's the character's name? She's one of the friends. Her name in the movie is Gretchen Wieners. Of course, she plays Gretchen Wieners.
Did you say Gretchen Wieners?
That's her name. Have you not seen Mean Girls?
I've seen Mean Girls. I didn't know her last name was Wieners.
Oh yeah, Gretchen Wieners.
Whatever.
And,
I'm an adult. I don't have to laugh at that.
but
I want to.
Lacey
though.
Chabert has become a kind of like a Hallmark movie sensation. Like she's just in all the Hallmark movies, holiday and such. That's where she's been making her living.
Is it her hallmark?
It is. You could say it is her hallmark, but I believe she recently is at odds with them. I think she's kind of aging out of the Hallmark movie age bracket, as she is now 42 years old. And so Netflix said, "Don't worry, we got you. We're hooking you up with the hot frosty here." And
hooking you up with a hot frosty
for everybody.
Sounds like something you do to a girl you meet at a bar in a back alley.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Just for the record, does not. It sounds like a lewd act, my friend. You can't tell me that it doesn't. You mentioned the Christmas Carol. What's your version?
Oh, that's easy. Like, takes
it
no
is
thought
easy.
at all. The Muppet Christmas Carol.
Of course it is. Yeah, it's the best version.
There's the Robert Zemeckis, Jim Carrey motion capture one that's terrible. I do not like that one.
Bad.
I do like Muppet Christmas Carol a lot.
I love a Muppet Christmas Carol. I want to watch it right now, actually. And then we didn't talk. I don't know if we mentioned this, but A Christmas Story will always be a classic too.
I have my brother-in-law. Like that's his Christmas movie. Like you can't get through the Christmas season if you haven't watched, A Christmas Story.
That's kind of my mom's, and so I watch it every year. So
I've always been partial to Jingle All the Way. I like that movie. I think as a kid
Dude.
who grew up as a Power Ranger fan and wanting the new Power Rangers
it's
for
Turbo time.
And Turbo Man is clearly like a Power Ranger Superman ripoff combination. And also, this is kind of embarrassing to say, but it's just the truth. For me, Jingle All the Way came out when I was 7.
Yeah.
And as a kid who had older sisters, so like the Terminator was not on repeat in my house. Like Jingle All the Way for me was kind of my intro to Arnold Schwarzenegger in a way, because I watched this movie a lot. But that's kind of embarrassing because he is the Terminator and whatnot. But like,
yeah, but you were 7.
This
that's
was
fair.
my rewatchable Schwarzenegger movie.
God, when was the first time I saw Schwarzenegger? Probably Twins, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Or, Kindergarten Cop. That might have been my first Schwarzenegger. But, Jingle All the Way, man, I can't believe I forgot that one, because that's one of my absolute favorites, dude. I love that movie. Phil Hartman is such a creep. And Sinbad, right?
Sinbad, yep.
Sinbad's so good. Good.
It's got Anakin Skywalker, little Annie, but before he was Darth Vader.
Before his life was destroyed by Star Wars fans.
Yes, exactly. Apparently, Friday After Next is a Christmas movie. I have not seen it. I actually haven't seen the Friday movies, unfortunately, but it did make the list. Silent Night. This came out last year. The John Woo movie with Joel Kinnaman. I heard not very good things about it, though.
Yeah.
Do you even know what movie I'm talking about?
No.
It was a John Woo action movie that came out last year in theaters, but obviously it didn't make an impact. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting to number 100. Oh, Ernest Saves Christmas is hanging on here at number 97.
I was not allowed to watch those.
Okay, this is an atrocity. Jack Frost, Michael Keaton as a snowman, all the way back at number 100. This is I disagree with this.
That movie's not good, man.
It's not, but 9-year-old Drew remembers it being pretty good.
I remember it, but it wasn't good.
I want to know a fun fact about this movie is that it was supposed to be George Clooney playing the lead role, and he had to drop out for whatever reason, so they replaced him with Michael Keaton. But if you look at the snowman in it, he like slightly resembles George Clooney still. Like he's got a little bit of Clooney to him because they didn't change the design of the snowman after Michael Keaton stepped in. But yeah, that's your fun fact about the movie Jack Frost, starring Michael Keaton and Kelly Preston.
And the spirit of George Clooney.
And the spirit of George Clooney, exactly. George Clooney over on Apple TV Plus right now in a movie with Brad Pitt called Wolves that nobody watched.
Yeah.
And the people that did watch it said it was okay to not very good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the real moral of the story is Christmas is, or the holidays in general, are to everybody a different thing. So, watch what you like. Because, you got your Home Alones, you got your Christmas Carol, Night Before Christmas, National Lampoons. We
haven't even really touched on Home Alone, but that's because it's just so, like, what's there to say that hasn't been said,
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
And
it's the only franchise that has a president of the United States in it.
It is about, let's not go there. It is about the feeling that these movies give you, and I think that's the thing. It's like these Netflix bad ones. Like, I'll still watch them just because I'm always kind of pining for that feeling you get. Like, am I gonna watch Hot Frosty? Probably so. Am I gonna feel good about it? No, but like, I'm probably gonna watch it.
no one feels good after a Hot Frosty, Drew.
No one does. I might need to take a shower.
It's a shameful act.
Maybe a warm bath after a Hot Frosty. You just never know.
Stop saying Hot Frosty.
I'm not gonna stop saying Hot Frosty.
Oh, God.
For as long as the show goes on.
Give you a Hot Frosty.
That does wrap up this discussion, though, and I think we were able to vamp long enough and still have it be entertaining. So I'm happy with this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in order to put a point on the discussion, if you had to pick 3 Christmas movies that you could watch this year, what would you pick?
Can I choose Lord of the Rings? Like, can we count that?
Yeah, you can count that if you want.
We'll do Lord of the Rings, and even to be more specific, I'll say Fellowship. I'll say Fellowship of the Ring in particular.
Fellowship? I love Fellowship, dude. It might be my favorite.
I will say Elf. I'll say Elf, and again, it's not an original one, but now I am really feeling like, God, I kind of want to rewatch The Holdovers. I'm really glad you said that. Like, that might be the
That's
one
a good
that
pick,
this
man.
year I get a rewatch to say, hey, I'm a year removed from last year's Oscar season and from watching this movie. How am I feeling about it? And watch it during this time. And an honorable mention to Hot Frosty.
Yeah, I'll say Hot Frosty. I'll say Hot Frosty. I'll go Die Hard. And what was I going to say? Jingle All the Way, because you made me remember that one. I love that movie. And then maybe either National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or The Grinch Steals Christmas. Those are both pretty good.
Now, for the Grinch, you mean the original animation?
No, I mean the Jim Carrey movie.
Jim Carrey live action.
Yeah.
Okay. Or not the more recent Benedict Cumberbatch animated movie.
No, thank you. Jim Carrey is where it's at.
That one's actually not bad. It's okay.
Is it good?
It's actually, it's not bad. Illumination, my guy.
Okay. Yeah.
They should do an Illumination Hot Frosty. So moving on to fresh movies of the week. I honestly, as I've said on the show before, you're busy with things coming up. Obviously, I'm busy. I'm in the middle of the moving process.
Yeah, you're moving. I'm having a baby.
Else.
Yeah.
I haven't watched anything other than Red One. I don't have any movies to add, or TV for that matter. So these are all you. If you have anything that you want to discuss,
I'm in season 3 of From, which is from the creator of Lost. Yeah, the show From. People stuck in a spooky Drew.
Like from David Lindelof.
I don't know people's names.
David Lindelof. I mean, from.
But yeah, from the creator of Lost is From the show on. I think it's Stars. Yeah, that one's still going strong. That show's messed up. A lot of really gross murders in that show. People get their parts pulled off and stuff. It's pretty fucked up. I've been watching that. And I've been rewatching Game of Thrones, so that's about it.
Now, I feel like you've done a few rewatches. Did you start another rewatch of Game of Thrones, or is this still the same rewatch you've been?
This is the same rewatch that I've been doing since before the second season of House of the Dragon.
Okay, where are you at in your rewatch now?
Second to last season, I think.
Oh, okay, so you're getting there.
Right before the Battle of the Bastards, they're building up to that right now, so.
How are those latter seasons holding up on rewatch?
Latter seasons are okay. Really, man, they didn't lose me until the very last season. And even that was good until they fought and beat the Night King's army in the dark in one episode. That pissed me off, but that was, and it was downhill from there, is in my opinion. But everything up until that point was pretty great.
Yeah,
like when they go over the wall to like capture an undead so they can show Cersei or whatever. Like, that's cool, but whatever. I digress. That was all that we watched.
I can actually add a few things here. It's the type of stuff I wouldn't normally add, but on a lighter episode, I can mention. I still watch Survivor every season, and we're now on season, I think, 47 of Survivor, which is insane. This season's been really good, though. I'm actually really enjoying it because you know how Survivor used to be, like Survivor the Australian Outback and Survivor the Amazon, Survivor, like they've done away with that now. Post season 40, they're just doing numbered seasons, right? So we're just Survivor 41, 42. They pretty much film every season in Fiji now because they have an agreement with Fiji, and it makes it easy for them in production. They film a couple seasons back to back so that they have them in the can, so on and so forth. All that to say, they still are introducing new things, and they're figuring out new things they introduce that don't work and changing it. And so this season, the twists and the way it's been working out has been really good. And I've been really enjoying this season. And Rob Cesternino, who's a former Survivor contestant from years ago, and he played on, can't remember his initial season, but he also played on the first Survivor All-Stars. If you don't know, if you're not in the know, in the Survivor know, like Rob Cesternino is the biggest Survivor podcaster. Like, he does weekly shows all about Survivor, and it really has expanded that to cover all reality TV. And so Rob has a podcast, is a pretty good sized podcast network for those that are hardcore fans of reality TV shows. That being said, he's doing a live show in Houston the first week of December, and I'm really looking forward to going to that. And I got tickets to it. It's the first time that I've been made aware of this. Rob's doing a show in Houston, and I did buy 2 tickets. And who am I taking? My wife, you might ask? No, I'm not. Jahan, you may ask? No, I'm not. I'm taking the mom of one of our close friends, because she's my best Survivor friend. Me and Kyle's mom, Vicky, are going to go see Rob Cesternino together.
I hope you and Vicky have a great time. That sounds like fun.
It's going to be a great time. That's my Survivor discussion. I think that's really it. That's kind of what I've been watching, like actively watching week to week as I prepare for the move. I just still have The Penguin, Agatha All Along, and now you've got Dune Prophecy starting up this weekend. These are all the shows I kind of have ready to go moving into the holidays when I'm trying to catch up on stuff, when when things slow down, and hopefully get some time off work, things like that. That's what I hope to watch.
I'm going to try and watch Prophecy and The Penguin while I'm home with the newborn. But I've never had a baby before, so I don't know if I'll be able to watch TV. So we'll find out.
Here's what happened with me. I can speak to this from experience. Mm-hmm. I had all these shows and things I planned to watch when I had a baby, and then you find yourself just being sleep deprived, and it's a new experience, and I think you just end up leaning into comfort food. Which for me, this is as crude as it is, like South Park was something I'd watch a lot of, especially because if you're ever up in the middle of the night, like trying to help with feedings or things like that, like South Park just kind of plays around the clock on Comedy Central after hours, so it's easy to like throw on in the middle of the night. I don't know. I found myself going to South Park a lot, or like 80s action movies. I actually watched Die Hard, come to think of it, when I was on paternity leave with Amelia, my recent daughter. So
it's very interesting.
I think I'll be interested to see what your experience is, if you end up watching a whole lot, or if you lean into your comfort food. Like after Amelia was born, a week or two after is when Shogun premiered, which was a huge show. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this, whatever. And I remember trying to watch the first episode, and I was like so sleep deprived, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. Like, I recognized that it was good, but I was like, I can't do this right now. I got to do something else.
Yeah, and I feel like I'll be in the same boat. So When we come back in January, I'll tell you all about what happened in paternity leave. And
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to catch up on that.
It'll be fun. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe in January we can do our 2024 in review kind of thing. We'll do it a little late this year. We'll do it at the beginning of next year, but it'll be fun.
Justifiably so.
Yeah. Oh, man. Did you have anything else you would like to add, Drew?
I think that's it for fresh movies and TV. We can move into our fresh games.
Hell yeah.
And for me, that's still just been Dragon Age, the Veilguard. You know, we dedicated our episode to that last week, and that's still pretty much what I've been playing. I think I've put about upwards of 40 hours into it. I might be in the latter part of 40 hours, leaning closer to 50 hours. And I think I'm in chapter 9-ish of the game out of, I think when you hit 11, some point in chapter 11 is kind of the point of no return. Which I'm still doing side quests and companion quests, and still overall enjoying it. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, some of these side quests are wash, rinse, repeat, but there's just things I'm trying to check off with it. But I'm still really enjoying it, and the characters and the story and the gameplay loop regardless.
Yeah, I got further into it and really enjoy what I'm seeing. I'm going to say that this definitely has my favorite combat system of Dragon Age. I feel like it's very intuitive and like varied and keeps things fresh. I really enjoy Veilguard still. But I also got to play Black Ops finally, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Honestly, it's the same game it's always been. So if you like that, I guess go play it. Not a big fan of the online multiplayer most of the time. It's just kind of a bunch of Twitch gamers that, you know, pre-shoot every corner. It's kind of lame, but I did have fun. I got to play zombies, and that was pretty interesting and pretty different from how zombies used to be. You're running around big maps, you're trying to do all these different things, a lot of gun upgrades. Very arcadey, not very horrifying, but still very fun. So if you like zombies, go check that out for free on Xbox Game Pass. Oh, and I played that Pokemon game you were crooning about.
Ooh, trading card game Pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The booster packs are fun to open. You get a lot of cards. And the gameplay is pretty solid. It is like a simplified version of the TCG. And I like it. If you're a Pokemon fan, I don't see why you wouldn't play this. So, yeah.
The funny thing about this, because this was also on my list to discuss, but Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket has infiltrated its way into my TikTok algorithm. So, like, I'm getting now videos or lives of, like, just insane polls in Trading Card Game Pocket. Just, like, really cool variants and things like that, because they are in this game by random draw, or, like, you can get essentially super packs. Like, there's a 0.05% chance that a booster pack you open will be a super one where like all your cards are amazing, stuff like that. So I'm seeing more of those types of videos, and it's just making me want to open more packs. I'm level like 13 now or something in the game. I have nearly, I can tell you, I have it pulled up. I have 422 cards right now in my collection, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm going to keep playing, but I'm still playing Marble Snap and enjoying it, so we'll see who wins that fight.
I'll also just throw out here, in general, I tried to look on my Xbox and I couldn't see it there yet, but I'm seeing news sites say that the Xbox Black Friday sale is now live with over 1,300 discounts through the Xbox store. But when I booted up my Xbox earlier, it was not showing it or advertising it to me, but I guess all of the sales are available online. You can see them, but I haven't really had a chance to peruse those yet and see, you know, what's the cool stuff on sale.
Yeah, all I can see is that they finally added the Spyro Reignited trilogy, but
yeah, they added that to Game Pass.
Yeah, that's all I can see.
It looks like if you head to the Xbox sales page is where you can see stuff.
So you know I'm a fan of StarCraft and all that, right?
Yes.
And they recently released the StarCraft games on Xbox Game Pass for PC, right?
Right.
The other day, they also shadow dropped, just onto Battle.net, I guess, remasters of Warcraft 1 and 2 with like hand-drawn art and stuff. And I was like, that's crazy. And so I'm going to be checking that out too.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually might check out those too.
I remember playing those a lot. So yeah, I really enjoyed that stuff. Well, I mean, sounds like that's about it for our games.
Do you have a fresh pick of the week? I feel like the only new thing we've really talked about is Red 1 and some games. Do you have a fresh pick though out of these?
Fresh pick, I guess I would have to say my favorite thing that I'm consuming currently is probably the TV show From on Stars. So I would say that. And Hot Frosty, The Sexual Act.
Yeah, Hot Frosty is going to be my fresh pick of the week for sure. Haven't even seen it yet, but I just know it's going to be. No, honestly, I'll say Survivor. Like, I don't mention it week to week because I just don't think that's entertaining here, but this has been a particularly good season. I'm enjoying it, and I'll make it my fresh pick of the week on a lighter week and a week that Red 1 just kind of delivered a Hot Frosty on my chest instead of being the movie I wanted it to be.
See, I also think that a Hot Frosty goes on the chest. I think we're envisioning the same thing.
Yeah, that's just, absolutely. By instinct, that's where a Hot Frosty is.
Yeah, something about a Hot Frosty. You know exactly where it goes and what it is. Well, hey, guys, that's everything for our season finale of Fresh Out the Podcast. We'll be back in the new year in January, maybe popping in here and there with some fresh news when we get the time and something crazy happens. But hey, thanks everyone for listening to Fresh Out the Podcast. I have been the board game guru and game master extraordinaire, Jahan.
And I am the professional media and movie Hot Frosty, the Funhouse, Drew Munhausen. This has been episode 141 of Fresh Out the Podcast. We genuinely hope you all have a happy holiday season, and we give our best to Jahan and his family moving into some exciting times. Please keep your thoughts with myself as I get through a move. So when we get back on the show, Jahan will likely have a new family member, and I'll have a different background. So yeah, there'll be changes abound.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. Stay frosty.